please.
Yes, ma'am.
I hope you're able to see me. Yes, you are.
Hello, ma'am. Good morning. I am Pratiti, working as an intern for Emomatrix in the psychology department. I'm a student of BA Honours Psychology from Daulat Ram College, Delhi University. On behalf of the entire Emomatrix family, I welcome you to the interview session. I request you to briefly introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Prasati. A very, sunshine good morning to you. It's a very warm in Delhi. So a very sunshine good morning to you. And thank you for making me, come here. Being I have rescheduled it already and you were being so patient with me. So thank you so much for, showing that patience and understanding. My name, as an introduction, my name is Anukriti Pandey, and I'm an IO psychologist, industrial organizational psychologist. I have my own startup founder of L2S Technologies Private Limited, which is trying to connect with corporates in training and development area. With that, I have a team of budding organizational psychologists only. I have been working with L2S, it is almost 2 year old, but majorly I started working with like last 1 year. With that, I'm a PhD scholar too. I'm pursuing my PhD in Amity University, Noida. Uh, that would be approximate introduction, which I would like to bring up with it. Yes.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's all our pleasure. So, ma'am, what is your story of becoming a psychologist? As in, how was your journey from being a student to a professional psychologist? And what made you believe that this is the job that fits you the best?
So I have a really completely different story as why did I choose psychology, because whenever I start with, they would say this is not what we intended to hear. So when I started my journey, I would have worked for corporate in 4 years. When I was doing my graduation, I did my graduation from IGNU. Being my psychology was always there from class 11, 12th, but due to some certain personal issues, I had to do my graduation from IGNU, and I was working in corporate for 4 sectors. While I was working in 4 years, I grew up from an associate to senior associate to team leader to assistant manager. When I reached an assistant manager and cleared my graduation too, I was like, this is not what I want to grow ahead. This is not a field where I want to work, because I'm studying psychology and I have had the passion of going to this neurologist and, PMT, everything. So that couldn't do. Let me get to being, learning more about mine, and working in corporates made me think that this is a field which is not yet touched. The whole industrial and organizational psychology, clinical whole mental health disorders are being, brought into focus again and again. People are talking about taboo. People are still are going to psychiatrists and, clinical psychologists compared to people looking at employees' well-being. Because I was facing it myself. That's why I wanted to bring that focus there. I completed my master's regular, but doing masters in IO psychology, the question also came into my mind as a student: what is the difference between human resource management and IO psychology? Well, let me learn both the things so I can myself understand by learning and experiencing it. I did my PhD HRM from Nasi Munji, postgraduate diploma in human resources. While doing both, I got it that okay, both are completely different when it comes to subject matter only. So why is a competition? After that, I did, because with both masters, you have to do the internships. No matter what, you have to do internships, you have to do dissertation projects and everything. So while going through that experiences of like connecting with Lee Grant, connecting with Endurance Aurangabad, connecting with SCL, these are the few companies where I did my internships, and I learned through doing human resources work too. While I was doing human resources internship, and while I was doing IO psychology internship, I would do IO psychology, the work which IO psychologists can bring into focus if they join any organization, with a difference with, human resources. Being they would be a part of it, but still. So that made me complete my master's. After that, just as soon as I completed my master's, Amity had the interview of PhD. I cleared my PhD entrance exam, joined there, and within 1 year, I started with L2S as a professional. Within this 1.5 year, while I was being L2S was launched, registered, but I wasn't working on it. This 2 years of gap, I was working under a, a counseling psychologist with 24 plus working years experience. So I was handling her clients, I was connecting with schools, corporates, bringing her, people, and being one of the consulting psychologists there. So that's how I got my experience.
That's so refreshing to know.
You're muted.
No. Can you hear me now? But I am not muted. Can't hear me still? I think there might be a problem at your
Got
end.
it, got it, got it.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So I was saying it was so refreshing to know your story. So can you throw some light on how your initial practice was, the challenges you faced as a fresh entry to the field?
The initial practice was at why IO. The first initial was when I was choosing IO. So I had to fight a whole war because that was a war for me. I was doing it from North Maharashtra University and it never had an IO student. Being they had it in curriculum, but they never thought anyone would choose IO as a thing. They would go for clinical. Usually inclination students have clinical, or if not clinical, they would go for counseling. And being IO still is a taboo that, there is a future ahead or not. I was like, I want to do IO. I was fighting there. And that was my initial challenge, to actually choose a subject which I was passionate about rather than going for clinical and counseling. They're like clinical and counseling are bigger elder sister. So you can go for it and you can get certification and still work on corporate. So why you have to go for IO psychologist? I was like, when there is a field there, why should I not learn that field? Why is that? Why should I go for counseling and then enter into corporate? I want to work on my field. I will learn about my field and then only I'll go there. So I want to be the business psychologist rather than being a counseling psychologist working in corporate. So that was my initial choosing the topic. Then the second challenge which I faced was internships, because as soon as you enter into internship, being an IO psychologist, they would have a question. What is the difference between IO psychology and human resources? I think that challenge it brought me that I clearly know the answer today. That if anyone asks me, I have I have a very clear answer in my mind, in my heart and soul, and I can share it with everyone. Any person who is looking towards passion towards IO psychology, I can clearly explain them. But at that time, I also had few questions as a student, and I didn't have many people to actually bring me out of there. So I had to research on my own. I sometimes I would be disheartened that there are no IO psychologist jobs, no as you search IO psychology jobs in India, and there would be nothing. And I was like, why I'm doing this? But then I knew somewhere that why am I doing this, and so that would be no, I'll be the one of the pioneers. I'll bring it no matter what. With coming here as well, I think for me the lockdown was completely blessing in disguise. I think for every IO psychologist it was, because before that people would not talk about IO psychology. They're like, you are the part of HR, right? You're the HR. We're like, we are not HR. Yes, we are one of the part of HR. We would come under human resources department only. Will not be different from it. But we have something extra to bring magic there. They are all people on data and analytics, just showing Excel sheet and presentation. We have the magic in our hands, which can just enhance them. Just look at us. We are the magical people, who learns about emotion, thoughts, behavior, who have observation skills, who know how to, interpret any emotion and to bring the modification too. We are trained for it. And HR cannot do it. Human resources, you're getting angry, take a break. This is not allowed in office. You'll be like, why are you getting angry? Tell us. We'll bring him down and we'll make him feel the guilty. Okay, this is what I have been doing. This is how I have harmed my organization. I'll do extra to complete it. So we have the magic. Let's do it that way. So that's how I used to explain that we have the magic. We have the magic to bring things there. That has been my challenges to actually talk about IO psychology into passionate and make people being heard that yes, this is one field which has like whole huge success coming over soon. Yes.
Right, that's so great. So while we are at that, I would also like to know that how your current work setup looks like and how it has transitioned from the initial days. Basically, how does a day for an organizational psychologist like you looks?
So I'm so sorry. As I told you, I'm a PhD scholar too. So my day starts as a PhD scholar first, because I'm a full-time PhD scholar. So my obviously I start from there. With that, I'm a visiting faculty there, so I educate on various subjects, which is provided, whichever I'm teaching there. And then that is my initial days when I started as an IO psychology, like when I was in organization. uh, Currently it happens that I'm usually starting around 2. I had nothing before 2 usually, until this surprises come up that we want to have a session, or if a counseling session comes up for an employer or corporate employee. So I keep it between 10 to 2. So I completely avoid 10 to 2 thing. Between 2 to 4 I am doing my whole learning experiences of psychotherapies. So I am learning different psychotherapy. So I have my own classes to enhance my skills. So not stopping the education there, because that is always goes on. Education never stops in a field of psychology. So 2 to 4 I have my own classes where I am a student and there is someone as an educator. 4:30 to 5:30 I have my internship. 5:30 to 7 I connect with corporates with presentations and everything. So I share emails, and if they have any question, that is my time slot where I would be working on and off with email and everything to check on what emails I have received, what I need to do next, what approaches we need, and the whole clashes about it. And then 7 to 9 I again have my classes. So I have my 2 batches of classes going on. Usual 4:30 to 5:30 and 7 to 9. 10 to 2 I keep my slot open to depend on whatever. Sometimes organizations usually needs this time, that daytime, with working thing of leadership training or employee well-being trainings. So I keep the slot open to completely keep myself flexible. Whatever comes takes a slot. So that's how it works for me.
That looks a busy day. So, can you also elaborate on what are some of the challenges and issues you face on a regular basis with regard to the work you do?
At this regular basis, I would say that while I'm doing my IO, I also trained myself in counseling psychology, because learning about to how to counsel was required being an IO too. So that is a usual challenges, that when people come to me, they would like, without knowing that what is anxiety and depression, they would talk about, "Mujhe anxiety hai." I'm like, "Sir, let me do this thing. Let me do this challenge, okay? That what do you have? Is it just you're overwhelmed with some thought, or it is actually just anxiety?" So that difference is too much. As a psychology student, also you would know that that difference of being overwhelmed by some thought, some emotion, and anxiety is too much, too large difference. Then they talk about things like, okay, you can be the counselor, I can also be the counselor. I also talk to my friends. I'm a therapist to my friends. Our friends Ali and a counselor is completely different. That's another challenge which I face, which happens usually in corporates, because they feel like we know it all. For a person who is coming straight for the counseling, for things like that, I need help, they have a completely different approach. But when you reach to corporates and you try to talk to them, so you get into a very this messy place where you cannot speak more, cannot speak less. You have to make sure that you have a firm space. And sometimes you are like, why am I here? Why am I here? What should I bring them? They are like, they already know everything. What will I bring? And whatever I'm trying to speak, this is what I will bring. This is what I can do. They were like, we know this. Our HR does it. Our this people does it. This is also a person who is an MBA, who is an associate. We'll make him do it. Then why did you ask me to do it? So that brings some challenge. And also the pricing, because they really talk about that, go for low as to give the services. But it takes a lot of energy for a psychologist. No matter what psychologist they are, giving the services takes a lot of energy in planning out things for every organization, for every person. So if I'm a counseling psychologist also in a particular counseling psychology, if I'm taking 2 sessions as well, my questions will be completely different for both the sessions. I would be making notes while I'm taking that session, while keeping all the attention on that person. So that takes energy, giving them the right perspective, that where to bring them, opening their wounds, clearing their thought patterns, letting them know that they are using actually unhealthy defense mechanism without saying it through my own mouth. They realizing it. That takes a lot of energy. Not giving advices, but making them learn that thing. The same goes for organization too. The organization is also one person, okay? They also have too many wounds. They also have to clear it up. It takes too much energy. And with one wound and with 50 people within one person, is like another challenge, because they would have their own wounds. So we would have to check, okay, the founder has their own wound, the board of directors has their own wound, they have their own thought process. Bringing them back to one place to say that this is what we are bringing into, bringing into the table for you all, and this will help you in this individual way. So that gets too much challenging for me. Yes.
Right. So since you talked about so many challenges and issues, I would like to know about some issues or challenges that you successfully managed in your organization or in your work experience so far.
So my first challenge was the difference between IO and HRA. And I have like a very good answer with it, that no one now talks me back that, okay, we understood this is a difference between IO and human resource management. That's the first challenge I faced. And I've actually got it very well with my whole experience as a student, as a professional, both. The second thing which I used to face is that why do we need IO psychologists in the organization when we have already research, training and development, learning and development, everything, in the purpose, because every organization has that thing. So why do we need an IO psychologist there? So that was another thing which helped me, that, okay, to bring there that this is why you need us. This is why it is required. We would be an additional spark to your organization who would be working both on data analytics, bringing the science in. You would be one of the scientists who would be working on human thoughts and behavior, whole team model. And we would also being the practitioner. When we have the scientists, we would be doing the research and everything. We would be doing psychometric tools. We would be doing applied sciences, other psychotherapies, with keeping up with the focus that we would also, bring the practicing there. So that's one thing which I've seen, that people are looking to understand more. If I go back like 3 years back, it was very difficult. They would not try to hear. They would be like, this is like I'm talking about some chanting or something. That's how I used to feel, that I'm chanting some French words in front of an English people. But now I feel, okay, they are trying to understand. So that's how things have gone very better for me.
That's great. So having heard all that from you, I would love to know that what motivates you to do the same work every day.
I have a wonderful team, Pratiti. I have a wonderful team. Like you, Emometrics has you, as I also have a very wonderful team. Whenever I am feeling down, my team is always up. I'm blessed with good girls. My team is all girls right now, no boys in it yet. But that's nothing like that. The girls came first, so they are the one. But I am blessed with such a beautiful, young, and enthusiastic girls, that if the day I would fall off, that I'm not feeling well or I'm going through something, and I cannot take this, I cannot post something, or I cannot put my energy there on telling them this is what we need to do, they would be up, they would understand, and they would do it. They are not, I just have to send a voice note. Like, for example, I just send them that today's World Health Day, I want something up for altruist technologies on Instagram, on all of my social media platforms. And they were like, okay, ma'am, we will do it. And then within like 1 hour, I received a poster. They didn't ask me to that what you need. So they have understood me so well, that what is my requirements as in, being a founder, that it doesn't take my energy. So that they are the one who motivates and inspires me to go ahead with where I started. They connected with my passion once, that now they want to go with altruist, and I really want them to grow with altruist too. So yes,
that is so great. That is so good to hear. So ma'am, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. It was a pleasure having you for the interview session. I wish you all the luck for your future endeavors.
I wish you all the luck too for future endeavors, Pratiti. Thank you so much. Take care.